Hi there YouTube, this is the Magnus, bringing you another Total War Warhammer online ladder battle. This time I decided to play as the Beastmen, and my opponent chose to play the Greenskins, and we're going to have a heck of a fight here. I decided to bring 4 Chaos Spawn, 2 units, 3 Gorehorde with shields, 3 Spearmen with shields, 2 Gorebulls of course, and I also brought a Shaman and the Beast Lord. So I deployed in a pretty standard format, infantry up front. Behind them I have my Chaos Spawn, my Lord and Heroes in the middle, and then to the very back I have my Ungor Raiders. Now taking a look at my opponent's army, he has a heck of an army together here. He's got Board Boy Biggins, he's got 4 of those, 2 on each flank. Up front he decided to put some Orc Boys, so he has 2 in the very front, and then I think he has 2 Orc Biggins behind those. 3 Orc Biggins. He also brings a Black Orc in the center of his army. He's got Orc Airboys, 2 of those. He brings Azhag the Slaughterer on foot. That's an unusual choice. And the Orc Shaman, so a little bit magic heavy at the leadership position. Though Azhag is a decent melee combatant, so there's nothing to shy away from there. So in the deployment phase I elected of course to take this hill line because it's quite promising, but I am going to shift down because I don't want to make him run up that whole hill. I just don't feel that's fair. You know, you can definitely get away with waiting a while and seeing if they're willing to push up a hill like that. There's nothing wrong with it. I just prefer to keep things pretty even because I hate when people do that to me. So he's going to go ahead and push up with his forces. As far as artillery, neither of us have any. As far as archers, we each have 2. So this is mainly going to be an on-the-ground, hand-to-hand scrum. He does have cavalry. I do not. But I do have Gorebulls. And what else do you need besides that? I mean, look at that fella. Ooh, he looks fired up. I like it. So he's pushing up the hill. I'm going to inch down a little bit more, make things a little easier for him. And we're going to start off here very shortly with a little bit of a skirmish phase, kind of testing each other out. He's going to get in the range of my archers. I shift him over a bit since the core of his line's coming up this alley. And I'm just going to kind of soften him up a bit, feel him out, see what he's planning on doing. I shift down further, so I kind of have my left flank with the water here, which I kind of like. And then over on the right side, I'm stretched out as far as his cavalry are. So I feel like I don't, I'm not making it easy for anybody to come around. So here our missile units start trading fire. Neither are particularly powerful. I actually think his are better. But I'm aiming for the Black Orcs. Now, are these archers effective against Black Orcs? Not very. But this is, of all of his infantry, this is by far the most powerful. So if I'm going to soften somebody up, it's going to be them. So I decided enough of that. Let's get charging in. The Gorebulls are going to roll in. Infantry going in. We've got the Chaos Spawns are all fired up. And I think they've done such a good job with this game. I can actually feel the energy of these two sides that both love to get in the pit and just fight it out. So it's a bloody affair. You're going to see me toss Flock of Doom many times in this battle because we're in a pretty small area. I can hit tons of units with it. So anytime there's any sort of blobbing, Flock of Doom is just so good because the damage when you spread it across 5, 6, 7 units is pretty undeniably awesome. So just lots of fighting across the lines. Neither side looking like they're unenthusiastic here. Now he is going to get 1 cav unit in through here, which is very unfortunate. I'm going to put my archers on it, but it's going to take them a while to whittle down these guys. He's going to go after my Shaman, which is a great choice, but just at the end there, you notice I started to retreat him towards my line because if I can get them caught up, get these Orc boys caught up in another fight, then I can kind of weasel him out, which is what happens. And I also use Flock of Doom to ruin his day a bit. So I still have the archers firing at them. Other than that one little flanking maneuver, it's mostly just a push. We're each trying to get to the other's valuable units. And, in the forest, you gotta like the Beastmen. I mean, this is their their natural environment. This is what they like. This is how they fight. But it's going to be close. As you can see, the balance bar really hasn't moved much since the onset of the battle. There's pockets where I'm heavily outnumbered, and then there's others where I feel I'm much stronger, like you can see here. But it's really hard for me to tell at this point how I'm doing. I'm just concentrating on getting my spells off and making sure that my Beast Lord and my Gorebulls have good targets, that I'm getting the most out of them I can, and try to keep them alive as long as I can. I'm not going to be that successful as far as the Beast Lord, though. He's just not a very good unit, and your only option is put him on a chariot, and there's nothing like making a bad unit worse. But he's cheap, and he can take more damage than, say, Malagor, so I don't know, though. I might have to rethink this guy. A lot of people use him, and I get it, but God, is he underwhelming. So anyways, back to the thick of the melee. Just blood, guts, pieces everywhere. I love these kind of matchups, which you can probably tell. Just, you know, it gives you a chance to really enjoy the animations and just how hectic the combat is in this game. It's just so cool. And watching a Gorebull tear through a line is, well, he's always fun. Check that out. And Chaos Spawn, just the ugliest thing in the game, I think, or one of the ugliest. Maybe Crypt Horrors are worse, I'm not sure. But man, do they dish out some punishment. And yeah, the idea with this is I have a shielded infantry line. Well, I did have a shielded infantry line that's very good at protecting itself from missiles and has higher melee defense, so they're going to be able to hang in there longer than offensive infantry would. And then they act as almost a hit point sponge for your Chaos Spawn, who are going to be your damage dealers. And in this fight, you know, generally the Greenskins are going to bring a lot of infantry, and that's what Chaos Spawn are made for, and they're anti-infantry. So things are starting to wind down. As we look over here, I've got a Gorebull fleeing. He's got a Goblin Big Boss coming back. I've got a couple of infantry and a pretty bad beat-up Chaos Spawn. Azhag's holding up very well. I kind of thought I would be able to get more DPS down on him over there, but he's hanging in there. In the center, though, I've routed them, and he's down to just the Sork Biggin, who is strongly considering fleeing. As you can see, the Greenskins are fleeing through the forest as well. So at this point, you know, I'm really going to start to focus on Azhag, because I believe, as I always say, if I can break him, I can break his army. But some of his stuff is going to start to reform, which makes me nervous, but I'm just going to try to focus fire him down. The Gorebull and the infantry are all going to put it on him. An interesting thing, by the way, is when you have a leader on foot or a hero, when they get knocked down, they seem, you know, while they're on the ground, unable to take damage. So sometimes having them on foot makes them more tanky. Now he gets this huge reformed group to come back into the fight, but just as they do, I chuck Flock of Doom on them. And the Flock of Doom is literally going to spell doom for the Greenskins, because as you can see, they're already low health, and they just melted away to, well, to nothing. And Azhag has decided he doesn't want to fight anymore. And with that being the case, the rest of the Greenskins are going to opt for getting the heck out of Dodge. So a very good game to my opponent. That was pretty darn down to the wire. This is a new Beastmen build for me. I've never tried the Chaos Spawn this way. I think it was pretty good. I look forward to your thoughts, because, like I said, it's very experimental. I don't know if it's good or not yet. And that's always an awkward situation to be in. Like, should I play it again because it won, or what have you? So let's take a look at the tail of the tape. The Gorebulls did well, no surprise there. The Shaman doesn't get credit for a lot of his kills and the damage he did. He was definitely the stud on the field. The Beast Lord did a little bit. The Spearmen, the Goreherd did fine. They served their purpose. They held the line long enough to keep the Chaos Spawn swinging, and they did what they do, which is kill people. And surprisingly, Mongor Raiders did better than I expected. I've always been kind of down on these guys, but you know, I might be a little too judgmental of them, or maybe they really are as horrible as I think they are. But I brought them in case he brought a Ragnarok or a Giant, and a Giant is not too uncommon, and they're, you know, any sort of archery units can help you out with that. Azhag did well for my opponent. The Goblin Big Bosses, they're more of HP sponges than anything. The Orc Shaman definitely had some effect on the battle. The Orc Boys, you know, I wouldn't use them in a lot of armies, but against the Beastmen, who generally have cheaper and weaker infantry, it's probably a good play. Two of his big uns completely crushed it, and two of it did not. His Black Orcs were fine, especially considering how much they got targeted. His archers were about as effective as mine. His cavalry did not play nearly as big a role as it needed to. They're very good against the Orc Boy big uns, but if you want to use them against infantry, you have to micro them really well, in my experience, to get a lot of kills. But they're not very expensive. It's not like Demigryphs where if you can't get a ton of kills, you know, you're out a lot of money. It's definitely not like that. So again, good game to my opponent. If you liked the battle and you learned something, please click like, please click subscribe. Again, this is the Magnus. Until the next time, take care and see you on the battlefield.